42,000 Coast Guard members working without pay during shutdown. The Coast Guard is the only branch of the military whose members will go without pay during unless Congress and President Donald Trump can find a resolution by Friday. Approximately 42,000 active duty military members of the Coast Guard remain on duty during the partial government shutdown that began Saturday, but they will work without pay until further notice, according to a statement from a Coast Guard spokeswoman. Unless legislation is passed by Friday, December 28, our military workforce will not receive our regularly scheduled paycheck for 31st of December, Chief Warrant Officer Allison Conroy said in a statement to NBC News on Wednesday. The Coast Guard is the only part of the military under the Department of Homeland Security, rather than the Department of Defense, which continues to be funded during the shutdown. The majority of the Coast Guard's civilian workforce has been furloughed without pay until further notice, with a small fraction still working as essential personnel. Government employees have received at the end of past shutdowns. Some Coast Guard family members took to social media to share stories of how the shutdown is affecting them. "My husband is active duty Coast Guard. Everyone thinks the military is getting paid during the shutdown, but the Coast Guard is facing no pay on the first due to being DHS and not DoD, one person wrote on Twitter on Christmas Eve in a post that was retweeted more than 11,000 times. "We live in NYC, pay over $2K/month in rent, have a toddler and one on the way," wrote the user, who declined to be interviewed by NBC News. "My husband is active duty Coast Guard. Everyone thinks the military is getting paid during the shutdown, but the Coast Guard is facing no pay on the first due to being DHS and not DoD. We live in NYC, pay over $2K/month in rent, have a toddler and one on the way." Coast Guard forces are continuing to provide essential operations that provide for national security or that protect life and property during partial government shutdowns, such as search and rescue, securing the nation's ports and coastlines, other law enforcement duties and environmental response, according to Conroy. But, she said, the Coast Guard stops or curtails mission activities that do not fall into those categories, including training and maintenance activities to its fleets. With the government shutdown, they will likely not have the full support that they need in order to maintain mission readiness, Conroy said. To aid the force's military members and their families, Coast Guard Mutual Assistance, the non-profit, official relief society of this branch, said on its website that it would post guidelines for assistance during the shutdown, but that its resources are not without limit. The organization suggested that members reach out to credit unions and banks if necessary for assistance. Working proactively with your creditors and landlords can often help keep the ship afloat while the emergency situation recedes, the organization said on its site. Navy Federal Credit Union, which provides service to all branches of the military, has announced a relief program that features a zero-interest loan to affected members. "Our members deserve peace of mind during a government shutdown, and eligible members can register to get some relief," Tynica Wilson, the credit union's senior vice president of debit card and fund services, said. "Public service is a defining characteristic of our membership, and this is the right thing to do." Trump told Congress last week he would refuse to sign a stopgap measure to fund the government unless it included $5 billion for a border wall, which Senate Democrats have refused to approve. Unless an agreement on border wall funding can be reached, the shutdown could last a very long time. Doha Madani is a breaking news reporter for NBC News.